Hi, and welcome back to bankruptcypreparers.com. Thank you for your interest. My name is Rick, and I want to thank you for taking action today in your first step to becoming debt-free. First, our goal is to give you all the steps you need to receive a discharge at the end of your bankruptcy case without a lawyer. We're not here today to tell you to file bankruptcy, but we assume since you are here now that you have considered all your options to becoming debt-free and that bankruptcy is your best option. Or maybe you're still wondering if you can do your own bankruptcy. You can do this on your own without a lawyer. With that in mind, that is what this video will do, starting with a voluntary petition, which is one of 18 forms you'll complete during the process. Also in this tutorial, we'll discuss obtaining the required credit counseling certificate, which will be attached to the voluntary petition when it's filed. In this lesson, I'll show you how each form is prepared by an attorney, using them as an example. Our reasoning is that even if a bankruptcy attorney completes the form, we don't always assume it's 100% correct. So we review it for correctness before using it as an example. That way we know it's 110% correct and it's safe to use it as a sample. In this lesson, we are using an Arizona voluntary petition filed by an Arizona bankruptcy attorney, or prepared by, but really it doesn't make any difference what state you reside when it comes to this particular form, and most of them, with a few exceptions, they're all prepared the same, whether you live in Arizona or California or Michigan or wherever. So let's get started. You've registered, you've confirmed your email, and now you're going to be back in our movie theater. We'll get there in just a second. Must be a long line. There we are. Okay, pretty cool, huh? Okay, first things first is that under Now Showing, you'll see a list of bankruptcy basics, 1 through 7, all different types of bankruptcy information here. We suggest you review that. But first, let's deal with our free video on the voluntary petition. But first, what we suggest is you go to the downloads and you download the 5 sample forms and instructions that goes with this video. A tip would be to suggest that you create a desktop folder so that all of these forms can be placed within that folder so they don't get lost or misplaced during this process. I also suggest that you take time to review each form to get accustomed to what is required information to complete this form, and also the how-to instructions and samples that accompany these in these downloads. Step 3 is going to open up the Form B1, which is the official U.S. bankruptcy court form that you would use to complete. Note that this form is fillable, savable, so that you can save it if you're halfway through it, as most of all the forms are we have in our system. And if you don't finish it, you can save it. If you need to come back and edit something, you can do that as well, make a change. I'm going to go to a form that is now completed to show you a sample petition with comments. These comments are put here to give you direction as to answer this question or whatever question is in this particular box, how it's supposed to be completed. So let's just start with the top here. We'll figure out which district you're supposed to file in. There's a link within this comment box that takes you to the court locator if you don't know. For example, if you live in a state that has multiple districts, like California has 4, Florida has 3, Georgia 3, etc. So if you're not sure, you would go to that link and it would tell you exactly which court you're filing in. Right now we're dealing with the Central District of California. Section 1 is where your name goes. You start with the last name, first name, Middle name or middle initial is acceptable. Same for the spouse. In this section here, you need to put down any other names you've used in the last 8 years. This deals with trade names, formerly doing business as, or currently doing business as, or previous marriages, and maiden name, if it applies, or names that you may have used in the past where you've had a name change. This section calls for the last 4 digits of your social. Do not input your full social. This document is public record, and it's for your security. You'll only need to put the last 4 digits, of your social. There's another form in the process where you will enter all digits of your social, and it is not public record, so your security is safe again. Next section is where you put your physical address. This does not mean a post office box. If during the process that for some reason you are sued for a action and it requires a summons to be served, it must be personally served to you, and it cannot be personally served to you at a P.O. box. If you put a P.O. box in this section, the court will reject your paperwork. Put the physical, and if you get mail at a P.O., put that in this section. The county where you live, self-explanatory. Type of debtor. 99% of the time you're going to be a individual, even if it's a joint petition. Corporation, stop here. A corporation cannot represent itself. Only an attorney can represent an entity. So don't go any further if you're dealing with a corporation. Nature of business, if you're not in business, this does not apply to you. In this section over here, we're dealing with the type of chapter you're filing, 7 or 13. 15, disregard this. You're not a foreign entity over here as well, same thing. Tax exempt, disregard this section. Nature of debts, 99% of the time you are going to be in this box. If your debts are more than 50% business, you would check this box, and also you would be exempt from the means test, but that's another discussion later. You would fill it out irregardless. With debts, personal, more than 50%, that box. The next box deals with the filing fee. Either you are attaching it in full, which is currently $306. You can pay the filing fee in installments as long as it's paid within 120 days. The court allows that. We have the forms within our membership area to do the filing fee in installments. We also have the paperwork to do it in the fee waiver. But you must understand that this is almost impossible to do. You have to be 150% below the poverty level. But if you do need to apply for a fee waiver, we have the forms and instructions within the membership area. For now, we'll just say filing fee attached. It's easier to save up your money unless you have an emergency petition to file to stop a foreclosure, a wage garnishment, bank levy of that nature, and you need to use the installment method, do so. But if you don't have an emergency, it's always better to save up the money, then file. Next section, Chapter 11, debtors. Disregard this for you. The statistical information section, 99% of the time, the debtor will have no funds going to creditors. Unless you're doing a Chapter 13, then you would check that box. This one is automatically populated for you during our process, but you can come back and you want to double check it. But if you know that you've got less than 50 creditors, your assets are between 100 and 500,000, and your liabilities are more than 500,000 and less than $1 million, you'd be safe in checking these boxes. But you could always come back and check for this later. The next page 2 deals with any prior bankruptcies in the past 8 years. If you've had one, where was it filed, what was the case number, and what was the date it was filed. Same thing with pending bankruptcies by any spouse, partner, affiliate. Definitions are in this comment box. Next section, A. This one you would disregard as well. Most of our clients would not be dealing with the Securities and Exchange Commission. You would also disregard Exhibit B because you're not using an attorney. Exhibit C, you would check no, that you don't have any chemicals or harmful products on your property. 99%, 100% of the time you won't. Exhibit D, this is where you will check this box that you have done completed the credit counseling and that your spouse has too before you file the petition. It's mandatory that you do this before you file. The next box deals with the venue, which means where have you lived, domiciled. In order to file the bankruptcy within your filing district, you must be a resident for the better part of 181 days, which is defined as 91 days. So as long as you lived in your county for more than 91 days, you would check this box. These other two boxes are irrelevant to you 99% of the time. The next box section deals with a debtor who is a tenant who has been evicted or about to be evicted during the process. You would check this box if this is the case. If he's already got a judgment, note that bankruptcy will not stall an eviction unless the bankruptcy is filed before the petition, before the judgment is entered. But we don't get into this particular section for the purposes of this tutorial. We do offer guides and instructions in the membership area if this section applies to you. This is basically it. The only thing left for the voluntary petition is to print it, sign it. It's mandatory they put a home phone or cell phone and date it. Section 2, the attorney section, you can either leave that blank or put debtor not represented by an attorney. Foreign representative, again, you would forget that box. It's irrelevant to you. Signature of non-attorney bankruptcy petition preparer. Note that we are not considered a bankruptcy petition preparer under Section 110 of the Bankruptcy Code, in that we did not prepare your bankruptcy for you. You did your own bankruptcy. So you leave this section blank. Same thing with the signature of corporation. Leave that blank. That's it for this section. You would print it out, set it aside, and sign it and date it, and it's ready for filing. The next tutorial is going to deal with the credit counseling certificate, which is this document. And let's talk a little about credit counseling in itself. Before you can file bankruptcy, you must consult with a nonprofit credit counseling agency who's been approved by the U.S. Trustee's Office to see whether there is another method or a feasible way that you can handle your debt outside of bankruptcy without adding any more to what you owe. To qualify for bankruptcy, you must show that you have received this credit counseling certificate within 180 days prior to filing. A sample is here. This is what a typical credit counseling certificate looks like. It's dated and signed by who did it, and this is what it's attached to, this Exhibit D, which is attached to your voluntary petition. This class is a 90-minute class, give or take, that will end up in a certificate being either faxed or emailed to you. You can take the class online or over the internet. If you're filing a joint petition with your spouse, be sure both of you are on the phone at the same time, or the fees will double. Also, plan at least an hour and a half, and make sure there's no distractions. Put the kids to bed, turn the TV off, whatever you need to do to concentrate on this process. You'll find a list of our providers in our members area, or they can be obtained through the U.S. Trustee's Office. Note that we have a provider that gives our clients this particular counseling session for only $5. There are other courses out there that charge as much as $50 to $60 for the same thing. In this free tutorial, we don't have the time, basically, to offer all the forms, tips, and explanations that may be necessary to complete these forms, but we do so in the members area in much greater detail than can be offered in this short video. This tutorial is designed to give you an idea how fast, simple, and easy it is to use our form samples and guides to complete a form. So that's it. Thanks for watching. To become debt-free, you need to take one more step. Take action, which is to determine which chapter of bankruptcy you are eligible to file, either 7 or 13. This can be quickly done by going to our home page. Click on the Do I Qualify link. Answer the 6-part yes or no questions, and you'll come up with an answer as to which chapter you're eligible. Once you're qualified for whatever chapter, you can sign up to become a member and start preparing your petition with our help. That's it again. Thank you for listening. See you on the other side.